A battle long in the making, a rivalry that began well over a decade ago, finally rekindled. A high-stakes duel between the Bracelet King and the Nosebleed Legend. Welcome inside the PokerGO studio, one and all, where it is once again time for the weigh-in. I'm Ali Najad, and these two gentlemen, well, they certainly don't need any introductions, but it is Phil Hellmuth, the reigning champion, and Tom Dwan, the fearsome challenger. And Phil, I want to start with you, because you guys have history, you and Tom, dating all the way back to a little something called the NBC Heads Up Poker Championship, where you said, quite clearly, in no uncertain terms, that Tom wouldn't be around in 5 years, I believe it was. And
no,
yet,
I think I said, will you be around in 5 years?
Well, I think we've answered that question already, but what made you think that he wouldn't be around in 5 years' time?
Oh, I didn't necessarily think he wouldn't be around. I've just seen a lot of people come and go. But you know, Tom and I have gotten along extraordinarily well for a long time. We've been to Club Boost together. We always smile when we see each other. We film together. And so I actually have a lot of respect for him. He was at my house earlier this year. We were smoking cigars and drinking and talking crypto. and then 2 days ago, we played with Mr. Beast.
That's true.
And I mean, so for 2 days, I played with Mr. Beast in the high limit table one at the Aria, and Tom joined us and played as many hours as I did against him. And the thing about Mr. Beast is, like, I mean, not only is he like the third biggest influencer in the world right now, and I just love him. He's cut from the same cloth, I think, as maybe Tom and I. And then, you know, we just
in what respect?
Yeah, just that, you know, just that he really, you know, I mean, he really thinks big, right? And he does big, right? And that's what Tom and I try to do, and I think we've done that a few times in our career. And, you know, I'm sorry, I don't mean too cocky, because I don't need cockiness. But I will say this, Mr. Beast, literally, after playing Tom and I for 2 straight days, I think Tom and I won less. I'm sure that he and I won less than $10,000 against him, playing super high stakes.
14.
Oh, you won 14?
So
I won like 7.
How often have you guys had a chance to play with one another since that infamous moment back in the Heads Up Poker Championship? I mean, how much seat time do you have?
We've played some since, but it's probably been 2 years or something since we have played until
obviously
2 days ago or whatever.
Put a damper on things. Back then, what were your impressions of Phil when he was saying all those critical things about you? Did you think it was just gamesmanship, or did you think like, wow, this guy's
I don't think I knew, really. I wasn't sure. But then I've told this story before. When we went on that USO tour, that's when I felt like I got to know Phil, because he was the same person with no cameras on with the troops.
Right. Right.
And I remember him getting, like, I think it was sucked out on or something in a tournament that we had put up. It was effectively a charity tournament for the troops. One of the troops sucked out on Phil, and he got so upset and started. And it was, you know, we had each put in like $100 for the winner or something.
No, we put in more. Like you and I, he would walk into the room and we'd buy
Maybe we put
every
500
troop.
each.
Yeah, 500 each.
But
we'd walk in the room and buy every troop a beer that wanted one. A lot of times they wouldn't accept because, you know, I mean, maybe they were tired. It was right before their bedtime. But we went in, and then I had the microphone the whole time. And it was just a lot of fun, and yeah, I had the same authentic reactions. But that was a fun trip because Tom and I spent a lot of time together and realized, hey, you know what, we're both actually pretty reasonable. One of us doesn't look reasonable on camera, and one of us does.
Let's get to reasonable opinions. And Tom, you know that Phil is a guy that garners a broad spectrum of them, but among specifically poker's elite and the high roller community and the online chatter from those people, it seems as though Phil is at best either very controversial or at worst just flat out disrespected by these guys. And I'm curious as to why you think that is and whether or not those who harbor those opinions are maybe just wrong in their dismissal of Phil and his talents.
So I think Phil's really good at playing like amateurs, and I think he's better than me at it. I think like Daniel, I think, is better than me at it, and I think Phil's better than Daniel at it. And I think I'm not sure if Phil will agree, but probably sometimes he's done a little less study than maybe some other people have.
Or maybe that's just what he's been leading everyone to believe. We don't know.
But I'm saying if he's playing maybe a format that he's playing someone who's played that format all day, every day for the last 5 years, maybe that's not as much his expertise. But in like tournaments and stuff, I've seen him make some crazy reads on amateurs and stuff. So I don't think
But then why, if he has the results, do people, even Daniel included, right, have these like really hard takes on Phil not deserving the sort of credit that maybe his resume would normally garner?
Because people don't like it. If Phil plays a hand that in a way they don't like, instead of saying, okay, maybe that's not the best versus me, maybe I'm making a little money or something, they get angry and they're like, I wish I had as many bracelets as him or something like that.
Do you think some of it really is rooted in envy?
Probably.
100%. Yeah. I mean,
By the way, if I win, can I borrow a bracelet for a day?
I mean, if I win, can I borrow like 10 million for a day?
But listen, you beat 3 very different opponents on your way to playing Tom here today. You swept Antonio, cash game player. He plays against a lot of amateurs. You swept Daniel, who's very much on the GTO kind of game theory side of the spectrum. And then you beat Nick Wright, who was a flat-out amateur. And nobody seemed to be able to figure you out. And I'm curious as to why you think that is, and whether or not you think Tom is going to have the best shot at kind of decrypting and decoding whatever it is that you're up to.
I think I play a style that no one believes is correct. And you look back 8 years ago, and they said checking in the dark was bad, and then a lot of the great young players started checking in the dark. And then they told me that limping on the button was bad, 4, 5, 6, 8-handed. And then all of a sudden they just had some of the young guys are like, oh my God, limping's correct. And so it's really interesting to me how they say, Phil does this, he's wrong, and then they pile on me and beat the crap out of me. And then for some reason they figure out that actually what I was doing was right all along. But they never come back and say, you think there's any mention of me in that, No. They don't, there's no apologies, It's like, beat Phil up, because we know he can take it. And there's a lot of jealousy around what I've accomplished, right? So beat Phil up, and then all of a sudden realize, oh my God, what he said is right. Nick Schulman was talking about Omaha 8 or better and how they used to make fun of my Omaha 8 or better section of my book, and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, now all of a sudden it's right. And so all this stuff I said, I'm ahead of my time, or I'm delusional. Same thing with heads up. I'm ahead of my time, or I'm delusional. I accept that I could be delusional. That's what I accept. But I'd like to think that I'm a little bit ahead of my time.
Well, throughout history, I think a lot of people who were kind of on the bleeding edge of some sort of concept have been doubted and cast out, and so certainly there is that. But I want to zero in.
Somebody once said that in a very shocking, they said that they thought that the Earth actually revolved around the sun. And then, I think they killed that guy.
That's Phil's
when we know it revolves around Phil and not the sun.
Come on, let Tom was too good. You cut him off, Ali.
That's too much. Phil's poker game is about as revolutionary as the Earth around the sun.
So there. See, that's a very
I need a
clever,
beer.
nice soft
I want to zero in on this concept of time, because so much time has elapsed since you two first played one another. And in particular, when you came onto the scene, Tom, I mean, you were basically 21 years old playing high stakes poker, the show, and really creating fits for a lot of people. But I'm curious as to how much you've changed over those 13 years, and what are the things that you have learned and how you've evolved, both as a player and a person, and what you would go back and tell the young you that burst onto the scene back then, 4x potting and causing fits, with everything that you know now.
So you're asking both how I changed as
and
a
what
player
you would tell
and
yourself
also, like, personally or whatever?
Yeah, both, yeah.
Well, the thing about high stakes poker back then was, sure, my games changed, but a lot of people were missing some like pretty core concepts, and it gave me a lot of flexibility. Basically, like I just played this WPT show a week ago, and I couldn't really get that out of line. Like everyone's studied No Limit a ton. I had a lot more options 10 years ago on high stakes poker. And yeah, I guess that's probably the biggest thing, that I think the timing was really good for me when those shows were. And I still think there were times that I did stuff that I was probably the best player in those games at that time, but by a little bit. And like one of the things I said was maybe I made 20 decisions, and 12 of them should have been right, and I got really lucky and 19 were right, and everyone was like, holy shit, you know?
Right, right.
But I definitely ran really good, and the timing of those games was really good for me.
What about your personal evolution?
In gambling or what? I mean,
Sure, life in general, like, and what you would go back and tell yourself at 21 now with all that you've been through, because there's certainly been some highs and lows along the way.
maybe sign with stars instead of full tilt.
That's it, huh? Just make a different decision there. But I mean, like, there's a tremendous amount of adversity. I mean, Phil knows this. You've been around, and you were on the scene when you were in your early 20s as well. That is going to be a part of any long and illustrious poker career, and weathering those storms is super important. And some of those storms are stormier for some than they are for others. And I'm curious, with regards to you in particular, like, how, you know, what you've learned and how you would go back and be like, hey, man.
Dude, you keep
this,
asking
you
the
know?
poor guy the same question. Let me say
I'm
this.
trying to get it.
Back
You
when
tell
I
me.
was young, I was so emotionally out of control all the time. You know, I
Back
could
when
go
you were
back
young, there are
if I could
times
go-
now where it feels that way. Phil.
Stop. But back then I was emotionally out of control, and it affected the way I played a lot more. Now I can just da-da-da-da-da and come back and kind of be within, you know. But yeah, so for me it was emotional control, right? But I mean, listen, Tom is 35.
Yeah.
He's already a legend, you know, and there's not many people in any industry that are already legends at 35.
When you talk about this emotional stuff, are there moments where you feel like you're being
Oh,
a
now you want to
parody-
pick on me? Bring it.
Oh, no, but are there moments where you feel like you're being a parody of yourself? Like you've developed this role, you're the villain, you're the brat, you're the people everybody, you know, in the high stakes community loves to hate and doubt and all of this, and so you lean into it, and you're like, okay, I'm going to give them what they want, I'm going to walk off, and I'm going to have my profane tirade, and I'm going to come back, but it's not really as deep-seated or heartfelt, and it's just kind of like you playing the role of Phil Hellmuth?
Let me tell you something. About 95% of those rants are just authentic me. Occasionally, I'm a little bit tired. I feel like, you know, I mean, you know, somebody's beating me a bunch of hands, and I'm just like, and then I just kind of get close to that boiling point, and then I just kind of lose it anyway. That's the 5%. But yeah, I mean, that's authentic me. You know, that's always been me, and we all have strengths and weaknesses in life, you know. And the one thing that I've learned is what my weaknesses are, you know. And I'm trying to play to my strengths.
I told you one of the troops sucked out on him for a no money thing, and I thought it was played to the camera. I thought it was 90% not real until that USO thing.
And you're like, no, this
it was
dude's
real.
serious.
I mean, it was like a 10-minute long, and like he was being nice to the troops because he, you know, wanted to be nice to them, but he was still steaming. You could see he was steaming that he got sucked out on, and it was just.
I had to edit myself. You know, we went over there with not a lot of sleep, but that's my excuse.
No, you were super nice to them. You didn't do, but I could just see it in your face that you were like steamed that you had gotten sucked out on.
Right, in a meaningless spot. But yeah, of course, that troop. Then I think we signed stuff for him, and Tom and I gave them, you know, hats and shirts and whatever. I mean, it was a really nice trip.
Well, I got to say, it's somewhat refreshing, perhaps a little bit disappointing to those who are looking for sparks and fireworks to see you guys being so cordial and being so civil, because certainly not all of these weigh-ins go that way, and I think you know what I'm talking about. There's a little bit more
Don't you
contention at times.
think it's kind of nice that there can be a high degree of cordialness when people have a high stakes match and where the guys kind of respect each other? At least I hope he respects me.
I still want his chips. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
I think it's kind of nice, and it's refreshing. And you know, Antonio came in full bore at me, and Daniel came
as
in.
well, yeah.
Daniel came in above full bore, and so you know, and Nick was lying about every hand. So I mean, you
Nick
know.
really, there was some pathological lying that went on there for sure.
in the middle of the hands or what?
Oh yeah, the entire
Dude,
session, middle
he
of the
threw
hand.
me off by lying, and so it threw my reads off a little bit. I had it, I didn't have it. Daniel did that in our first match too. He lied a ton, and it's like they respect my reads enough to lie to me, but I don't think I ever lied to them. But you know, once I realized they're lying, then I was just okay.
Yeah, it was a little discombobulating. Well, listen, I'm not going to sit here and try to fan any flames or create any sort of controversy or conflict between you two. It seems like there is some respect, and you guys are certainly itching and ready to go, so don't let me get in your way. It is that time for me to sign off, and
You wanna play three-handed?
To lock horns. I would actually love to play three-handed, just to be able to say I did it.
We're going to get Mr. Beast to play us three. He's talking about playing us three-handed, and filming it here. That would be amazing, like 400 blinds.
Well, make sure you ask him before you, I don't know.
Oh, he already told
Before
me.
you put him on the spot?
Oh, he already told me. I'm not saying he's going to show up tomorrow to do it. But he
Can I sell some and get involved? I mean, what's the deal, boys? I'm looking for an opportunity around here.
I mean, I think three-handed is a nice
We'll
game.
talk. We'll talk after the match. Well, listen, in the meantime, I want you guys to get these cards in the air. I know you're chomping at the bit. If you want to watch the match, you know where to do it. It's on PokerGo. It'll happen at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Myself and Nick Schulman will have the call. Until then, I'm Ali Najad saying see ya.
Is it today?
Phil Hellmuth is your high-stakes duel champion, 7-0.
And so I will tell you, after watching video of these guys, then it's like a light turns on for me. Dwan is just another great player that's not playing like Daniel. He's won as much money as any professional poker player.
Hellmuth now a perfect 7-0. Perhaps we see the likes of a Tom Dwan stepping into the arena. The question no longer remains. It is not perhaps we will see, but rather he is here, he is now. It is time for High Stakes Duel 3 Round 2, and if that's a bit of a cryptic introduction inside the PokerGo studio, allow the pictures to decipher everything. Yours truly, Ali Najad, rejoined by my partner in crime, Nick Schulman, bringing you the long-awaited match, perhaps the one that everybody will be able to sink their teeth into on a level unlike those before it. Phil Hellmuth has swept Antonio Esfandiari and Daniel Negreanu, beat Nick Wright, and comes into this match 7-0. Will be taking on the legendary nosebleed high-stakes cash game phenom, Tom "durrrr" Dwan. Now a veteran, no longer the spry 21-year-old who made his name by overbetting and giving people fits early on. As we bring you the rules of the duel, 30-minute levels, head up no limit. The winner has the opportunity to stay on, rather a compulsory stay on, and then the loser will have the opportunity to challenge or cede the seat to another challenger
In the air.
who needs to step up within 30 days. Each player has bought in for $100,000. This is
Wait
the
a minute,
$200,000 match.
Where's Mr. Beast? Deal Mr. Beast in. We played three-handed with him all day on Sunday. He managed to lose basically nothing to Tom and I.
Mr. Beast,
here we
a
go.
famous
First hand.
YouTube influencer.
I'll check.
Blinds at 150, 300. Both players being dealt an ace right off the bat, and all clubs is all Dwan.
700.
This is the way it's going to be, huh?
Hope so.
A free look there, and
Wowie.
Nick,
And
we
that's the
talked
first
about it
hand.
during
Very
the
nice, very nice.
pre-show yesterday. Dwan is the man that you believe could bring an end to this Hellmuth streak.
Well, of course. I mean, I think we all believe it, but we'll see. Nice start for Phil, by the way. Just gotten
You
out
got
of there
the
with
black
ace
and
high.
gold going
Club.
on, like me.
Tom made it,
And,
Ali.
True.
I hear Poker King's crushing it now, huh?
They had to make a new logo. Their old logos weren't good for some reason, so they could only get it on a shirt in time for the
10-8 suited here for Hellmuth. Dwan demonstrating his range with the 9-deuce offsuit, defends, swings and misses. Same story for Phil, who immediately checks back on the ace-high 2-heart board and then turns a pair of 10s.
400.
That one comes to a close quickly and predictably.
yeah, they almost weren't gonna have a logo for me. It's like, guys, I think you should probably find one.
There is a look at the prize pool. It was 100 grand when Hellmuth faced off against Nick Wright in round 1. Now, as we mentioned, each player in for 100,000. And if Dwan wins, we will finally find ourselves in a round 4 situation, Nick. Up there playing for 800,000 as the rules require you to play at least 3 matches.
You know what it is? Everything we do it big.
Wow.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Well,
Oh, I thought we were going to go to the bag early.
me too. I mean, he thought about it, but, you know.
Would have cut into
I
his
know
wrap.
you do a lot of crypto, Tom. I can't wait for this one to launch. I'm a paid endorser of Bitcoin Latinum, and this is not investment advice, but I can't wait for this
I
one.
thought he was just
When's the
feeling the
launch?
hat.
Right.
I didn't realize that was a paid
sometime,
endorsement. Who would have thought?
Hopefully within the next, hopefully within the next month. Another 1,000, huh?
We go, by the way, a little north of 4x with the
It's a big
8-6
raise.
offsuit. Hellmuth in.
Oh, and perhaps a touch of clairvoyance for Phil as he manages to hit trip 5s against Dwan, who has an 8 here. Oh, and now it's 5s full of kings for Hellmuth. Just in case there are any diamond concerns, you see Dwan pumping the brakes, understands that Phil's willingness to continue on that flop means he has a little something cooking, usually.
A little something, certainly. It's hard to narrow down what that little something might be. And Tom has to continue here.
1,000 into 5,200 is not going to be good enough to shed an 8.
It looks
And
like
that's
Phil's really
by
kind of
design.
targeting ace high and such with that kind of small size. And maybe here Tom can get away. Let's see what kind of sizing Hellmuth comes with, Ali.
That will have everything to do with what Tom decides.
22.
2,200.
Yeah, this is
Interesting, actually.
milky.
Comes with 30% pot on the end, which is pretty
I got it.
unconventional. Targeting kind of exactly what he ran into, so well done from Phil. Great start for him.
And the look on Tom's face kind of said it all there, didn't
Yeah,
it?
he's getting 4-1. It's like he sort of knows he's beat, but onwards.
That's why you're the best.
Right.
Was it suited?
compliments
No.
paid to the
five
15-time bracelet
offsuit.
winner.
Did you have beat before the flop?
I had the 5 beat. It was offsuit, really?
I can't limp in with a king and fold. I can't limp in with, I'm going to limp with ace king suited all day, so I can't.
I did not.
I don't
Well,
raise
Did
the
you
button.
never raise in the last matches?
I didn't raise for 3 hours straight twice, I think.
900.
Phil famously limped in with ace-jack suited on the button against Negreanu, who happened to have ace-queen. Negreanu came with a fairly big raise from the big blind, and
Yeah, it was insane.
the market went.
That one was insane. I
Man.
think Tom's
Always
being
going to be
genuine.
disappointed I was going to eat my sandwich, but now I've had enough fruit and nuts for a while.
what do you think you're
when
disappointed?
you had that one bite, he's like, no, wait.
Right.
Tom asked him, did you limp in the prior matches?
Right.
I don't think that was gamesmanship. He's sort of implying he didn't watch. I believe that.
Sure. And I think he's beginning to reformulate whatever the existing
Raise
perceptions
call
were
pre here.
of Phil's
Right.
approach. Because I don't think the Phil he remembers would have gotten in there with the King-5 offsuit.
1,500.
Meanwhile, ace-jack going to work here. Takes it.
Winner.
It's a lot easier when you flop trips.
You flop trips just now and folded?
No, no. Last time. 558 would have worked.
stacks are tremendously deep to start things off here. Over 330
stakes
blinds
duel.
apiece.
Usually in
starting
these
with
matches,
100K.
usually, most times in these matches, my opponent wins about 60% of the hands. Daniel mixed it up a little bit. Antonio won 55, 60% of the hands. Nick Wright won 70% of the hands or some crazy amount.
Really?
They won all
70%
hands.
is a lot.
Dude, he, without exaggerating, he won 40 out of 6, 42 out of 60 or 40 out of 62.
Wow.
Both players with a piece on this 9-high board. Advantage Hellmuth with the 4s. Dwan let out for
800.
300. Now picks up the gut shot straight draw and fires again.
Call.
Nice continue here from Phil, slightly uncomfortable.
Check.
1,000.
1,000.
Ali.
Value.
I like this dig from Tom early. You know what I mean, Ali?
Yeah, he's not just mailing it in with the call of 1,000. Obviously, there could be some busted diamonds, but I think that question has been answered here as we see the stat on Hellmuth, who held the lead over Nick Wright for over half the match. But for you and I, it was a little bit of which Tom Dwan do we get? Do we get a guy who comes in and goes, oh, it's just a $100,000 match. What's the big deal? I got a dinner to get to,
900.
and just puts the pedal to the metal? Or are we going to get somebody who puts the dig in, as you put it? And
Hellmuth elects not to defend 7-6 off there versus the 3x. That's exactly right, Ali. I mean, you know, he's unpredictable. This is no secret, but he's here now.
A little too tight. A little too tight.
What'd you fold?
6, 7.
I had king 10 suited.
A little too tight.
Nick Wright in round 1 was so well served to lie at virtually every juncture about what he held. Eventually, Hellmuth caught on, but it was really discombobulating for Phil because he gave the man credit for everything he was saying, and he had to make these adjustments on false information. Nothing false about a pair of 9s, which turn into 9s and 3s here.
Check.
And looking to induce here.
And I think
Check.
it doesn't
300.
doesn't work this time. But yeah, a slippery little line from Hellmuth there.
Still feeling each other out.
Absolutely.
It's been a minute
Will
since
you ever
they've
lie
squared
about a
off.
hand?
Yeah, of course.
In this format, even though we're going to see it later?
Not often in this format. Especially to people I like, I don't lie often.
Boy, oh
Often.
boy, those guys must not have liked me very much. The last
No, a
two
lot of people
ones.
aren't like that.
I'll check.
Check.
All spade ace high.
700.
Dwan follows through.
Look at this, Ali.
For a second, it looked like Jack High had an idea.
Good bet.
Even in the really big cash games, I like try not to. I still do, obviously. Like there's some people you just don't have a choice. They push you to say what you had. Like
Even then, I kind of avoid the lie. I'll kind of be like, yeah.
I'll do that like once or twice, and then I'll just lie to people, and they'll never know. Like mess with their head, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll try to be like, come on, come
If
on.
you push me, if someone's pushing unfairly, like I
That's what I mean.
what did you have? What did you have? What did you have? And I tell them 10 times in a row. The 13th time
No, I'll tell them once or twice, and then I'll lie.
but then I'll trade. I'll be like, okay, I'll tell you what I had, but you need to tell me next time I ask.
I don't trust people to do that.
You don't trust anybody.
I do. I mean, just not at a poker table.
I trust them to tell me.
Generally good practice.
I've probably seen some crazy shit compared to you. Played more in
Yeah,
Asia.
you have, for
Played more
sure.
in Asia.
For sure, you've seen more crazy stuff than me. Wow, I'm suited.
You folded a suited hand?
This is my style, you know, it's a weird.
I didn't know folding a suited hand was in your style, though.
I think, wouldn't be surprised if you win between 59 and 61% of the hands.
I think I'd take outside that range.
More or less.
I don't know, but I'm just saying that's a thin range, 2%.
Call.
Check.
Check.
Two jacks. Hellmuth loves to be trappy. We see him limping at pre.
300.
Dwan with the gut shot.
900?
900.
Bets out and gets 3x'd.
He has such an interesting little style, Hellmuth, Ali.
Really
Limp,
unique.
check back, raise a turn. Yeah, absolutely.
I never
Yeah,
played
man.
someone who limped the button so deep. That's funny.
Well, as we touched on, these guys go way back. And how about
Dwan,
this moment?
oh, he looked like he was going to call. Oh, and Hellmuth looked like he was going to turn his hand up.
That's really weird.
It's not deuce to 7, I'll tell you that.
Well, there was a decent chance it was.
It's not deuce to 7.
The old
These
King
guys,
5
Ali.
goes
Look at
way
these
back,
guys.
apparently, huh?
Yeah.
That was from a very old episode of Poker After Dark. Meanwhile, we pick up the action here, where Dwan raised preflop on the button to 900. Phil defended. Goes check, check on the 10-8-7 board, where Hellmuth
Check.
Check.
had the 8.
Check.
Quite fortunate against the ace-jack. Dwan shut it all the way down.
Man, I missed a bet there on the river.
That you did.
You have to
Can never be
call.
too careful.
Well, I was trapping. I didn't think you had ace high. You raised every hand except like one. So I'm thinking you probably have like 4 high. You have to blast there.
I would have blasted before.
Yeah, I would have found a call.
Sort of astute from Hellmuth. Maybe it's better to bet
And
an
not
8.
too long either.
An 8 there without an ace, targeting the ace highs. But onward. The limp here from Ace King, Ollie.
And ace right away.
400.
Dwan
1100.
1100.
tries to take a stab with the jack high and keeps it clean. Phil showing some different gears here. A lot of times he would be inclined to flat with that ace king.
Really? To me,
Not
it
a
feels
bluff
like.
hand.
To me, it feels like we're very close to even. Like 3 or 4 or 5% swing at most.
No, I think you're up 7,000. Plus, you got all the black chips. I wouldn't have guessed that one.
You've still won more hands than I have.
Really?
By a lot, right?
I don't know. I might
Yeah.
keep track.
I think it might be like 8 to 5 or 9 to 5.
We only played 14 hands? Wow.
Well, whatever. Maybe it feels like you've won 2 or 3 more hands than me.
Some exceedingly granular.
Just getting started here, Ollie.
rather.
Not as much. I will tell you this. I limp with jacks on the button and ace king on the button already today. And I don't lie. So. I wouldn't have minded you raising either one of those. The ace king, it came ace 7 deuce.
Oh, that was just now.
Yeah, I regretted
Jack
leading. I regretted raising you.
Yeah, you might have got a bullet on a turn.
Yeah, or maybe you had a jack or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said you had jack 3.
Yep.
900.
5 deuce off, Ollie. Hellmuth in there.
Dwan's going to show off his range.
Check.
Check.
Which
Wow.
is as disconnected from this as possible, and good for him, given that Hellmuth has flopped the king high straight.
1000.
Check. Maybe, I don't know. Not likely you're drawing live there.
I had 5 high.
Shit. That was the one where I need to check 2 more streets. Fold. That was the one. Check, check.
We're getting the bullet somewhere. That's
Yeah.
unless I hit.
God, he keeps looking over at the bag, man, and I'm just hoping he reaches in. And
He's going to reach in at some point, Ali. So you don't hope too hard. I'm sure that one will come home for you. 8 suited on the button here for
Check.
Tom. The defend from Hellmuth with Queen 6.
Dwan has actually won 11 of the 18 hands thus far,
1,000.
and yet he finds himself behind. Make that 12 of 19 now as King High follows through and takes it down.
All right. For the record, there is bacon in this sandwich,
Oh,
but it is a club sandwich.
well, perhaps Hellmuth saw the hype show and wants to make sure the book is properly apprised. Video evidence would seem to confirm the presence of swine in that sandwich, and I'm not sure the upper lip got around the top bun there. That was an uncomfortable approach.
Oh man. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little bit of a shy eater, you know, just anyway. But I mean, look at this. It's just touching the
Is
card.
that Texas toast?
I
Look
think
at the
it is.
thickness.
Oh my God. Just kind of attacking the perimeter first, and then we'll, here we go.
You gotta
Oh,
soften them up. Look at
Guys.
those 2 screenshots. My God.
This is a serious sport here, guys.
If you missed
Man, what are
the
we
hype
doing?
show,
Yeah.
there's the odds from our producer, Zach Ralston. The Hellmuth Cafe book open for business, and the favorite laying 3-1.
3-1 favorite, he said.
for
I mean,
bacon.
I didn't see how
Already
that could be
came in.
possible, but excuse me, the first 10 minutes. I mean, here we go. Jack
Look.
3-5 rainbow.
Our book is sharp.
11.
Top pair, top kicker for Hellmuth, and the 2 overs, the Jack, Queen, King for Dwan. Let's see, yeah, our book is very sharp. I mean,
Check.
Check.
Dreamy situation for Phil. He really relishes these moments where he's got a whole lot of hand and defers to his opponent, tries to get them to hang themselves. So far, Dwan's been pretty disciplined as far as multi-street attempts are concerned.
it looks like Hellmuth has about 50% cut out there, and
19.
it's actually a little bit awkward for Tom. He snap folds, well done.
It's a shame you didn't have King Jack.
Hit a 5.
Oh, no.
Ace Jack.
Yeah. I thought if you had 8s or 9s, I thought you might call me there.
Probably.
Oh, man.
Here we go, Ali.
Check.
Yeah, trap being set. Will he be trapper or trappee, or will it be a non-event? This board connects with Dwan's 8-5. He's got himself middle pair. Hard to flop a pair head up.
Check.
Quick check back from Phil, and
500.
Dwan checks a second time. Makes the call, doesn't improve. 4 to a straight on the board now.
Check.
Aces.
Aces.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, aces, Ali.
And you gotta love that look on Tom's face. Like, all right, buddy.
Aces.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that pot could have been bigger. In other words, I
Yes.
wasn't folding.
I had a good hand, actually. I could have raised pre-flop.
If you raise pre-flop, I'm going to win a really big pot, I think. Maybe.
You're going to re-raise me, right?
Maybe. Probably, yeah. I have to raise with aces in case you lose your mind and move in with King Jack suited or something. Right? You got to leave the door open, right? You never know. You won't do it, but
Only time will tell.
Call.
Check.
Check.
Anything's possible, and even the best of us get a little frustrated in this heads-up format. Can start to
300.
push the game, not let it come to us.
Tickle from Tom takes it. Indeed, Ali.
That was a little too weak. I got to bet the flop on the 7-8 jack.
I would have called.
And I can bet the turn.
Probably call. Then you might lose it on the river.
Yeah, you might go for it.
900.
Up we go with the 7-4 suited, and again, Hellmuth with premium goods.
Call.
Comes with a just call, consistent stylistically with his approach.
Favorable board texture for Hellmuth.
Check.
And Dwan staying snug, picks up a gut shot straight draw on the turn. Clubless, however.
14.
Same
1400.
story for Hellmuth as far as the lack of a flush draw is concerned. And
I picked up a lot of hands so far.
You have
Another
something here?
pretty big pair here.
You have a
turn
pair?
bet
Nines.
Wow.
sheds. Tom 7-4.
Can I get some blocks?
Yeah, I mean, these matches are... Daniel kept, you know, catching a... It was hot the first half hour of all my matches. And he went public saying that I wasn't very good at deep stack. There's a lot of variance when you're playing. Call.
Call. Check.
Fives and deuces for Dwan against the ace high.
Nice little lead out there from Tom. 2/3 just to kind of get things going against a very pot control-y player.
Big equity ad here
I'm
for
checking back.
Hellmuth. Wheel draw, club draw as Dwan tried to get him to bet, and now it could be a trouble card for Phil as he makes aces, 4 to a wheel on board, and
Call.
Call.
Dwan cobbles together some value on the river.
Yeah, classy little value bet there from Tom. Knowing Phil might be apt to even check back top pair, and it's a big part of his range, the ace-X stuff.
I want a pot.
He's on the board, Ali.
Very nice, very nice.
Biggest pot I pulled all day.
Ace was bad for me. Club would have been very lucky.
900.
Fold. Oh, this is a famous hand.
So we don't get to see the...
Shout out to the biggest legend in poker, Duel Brunson. I apologize for not playing the 10 deuce. But then again, Doyle, you did tell me that you stopped playing it also.
I saw him the other day after that. Ted Cruz and Mr. Beast and
Yeah.
your and his and that girl Alex. All he could talk about was how lucky you were. I told you.
Hellmuth limps the king deuce, turns into a gutty on the queen high
I did have
board.
aces.
Call.
Dwan's ace high is best. Check back 3 and leads on the flop. Obviously that texture not so great for him, and Hellmuth's going to capitalize on position, it looks like.
Does look that way, Ali.
800.
You had aces.
Bravo.
What?
I did have aces. The second hand Mr. Beast sat down, I had aces, and he had 7-8, and it came 9-10. And rather than slow play it, I just moved in. And he decided to call, and it held up, so that was lucky.
Wow. There it is, guys. I mean, I don't know if this is an actual statistically relevant
Or official, for that matter.
or official, but there
I
it
like
is.
that side, though.
Right.
900.
Nice one here for Tom. Winner.
Yeah, this Mr. Beast character that you heard them reference right off the top. I didn't really understand how wealthy this young man is. I mean, he made his name basically giving away money on YouTube. But
Is he a gamer? Is he an esports guy, Mr. B?
No.
He's a beast.
he just he had stunts like where he would put a bunch of people on an island, and the last person to leave gets to own the island. He bought an island in the Caribbean
Wow.
and made that stunt. Then he had
Bravo.
put your hand on $1 million, a
Okay.
box with $1 million in it,
I limp
and
full
the
on
last
the button and
person
make people race with 7-8 suited.
I had 7-8 suited.
to be
That's
left
weird.
touching it gets the
It's
million.
weird.
Seems easy enough.
Last time I checked the old 8-5 suited, though, that was some nitty shit against your kings. Or aces. I mean.
900.
Don't invite me to that touch the million thing, because I'm packing Gorilla Glue and I'm in it for the long haul.
That's right, Ollie. I know you are, buddy. 9s again for Hellmuth. Likes to just call a second time.
King 4 on the Queen High Rainbow board will follow through.
3, 4, 5, the over. As you said, following through.
2,000.
2,000.
Oh, and now we see a little check raise.
Interesting, and it's so. You notice with Phil, he often
That
cuts
is
the
2 9s again.
call out immediately.
This time my hand, 2 black 9s, baby.
Oh, baby has been
The hand I won the main
declared
game.
here. Just a tinge of
Yeah.
not ill-intended condescension, but condescension nevertheless.
I don't know about that, Ollie. Just a couple 9s, baby. That's it. You know?
Call. Check.
Limps in with the flat tire.
Allow me to try to put some beef on this grill, would you? They've been too nice to one another.
Check.
I'm tired of this cordiality. Queen 6-4 with 2 diamonds turns to 3, and Dwan with the lone flush draw decides to fire.
Cordiality. Is that a word, Ollie?
I'm not
It
certain.
might be. No, it might be. I mean, it makes sense. Just 9 high here for Dwan, the diamond. Like
Shuts
check.
down.
Force.
Hellmuth will happily do the same. Winner.
And to the internet we go. It would appear that it is indeed a word.
Ollie. I mean,
Ye
look
of
at
little
you.
faith.
Look at
Did you
you.
watch a single hand from any of my matches?
Nope.
There it is, Ollie. You
what I
hear that?
He did not watch a single hand.
Antonio and I we'd come in. We'd watch our match. We'd come in and I'd be like, did you study any heads up? No, no.
Did Daniel?
Johnny would come in and he'd say, you race this many times and this many times and this many times, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do.
Daniel certainly got into the lab. But it
You and Daniel, like, I thought got along before this.
We
thing,
do.
Right? It
I
was
went
just
to.
this thing,
I mean, he jokes when he says I went to both his weddings, but I went to both his weddings. Yeah,
didn't work out
we
any
get along.
better
I
for him.
check.
Check.
Trademark. Dark check from Hellmuth with the ace-5 suited, which is
700.
He's never attacked me personally, Daniel. He's
Into the
attacked
muck.
my legacy.
on the flop.
200, 400, new blind.
He's attacked my legacy. He's attacked the way I play. He's attacked everything but me personally. So
So you're still good? Or not?
how can I be mad? I mean,
Maybe if you
someone
hadn't gone
attacks the
through
way I play poker. I mean, like, that's like, to me, almost like politics, right? Like,
Call. Check.
Six, 4, and Jack 7. Blinds at 200, 400.
he's never said Phil is a bad person or something, you know.
Call.
Pair against the gutty for 500 ahead.
Double gutty now of sorts, Ollie. Comes with a quick check back.
8 would be no good as Dwan had a jack. Running 9s.
You win.
1,000.
And no sooner does Dwan reach for that 1K than Hellmuth discards the 6 high. I'm pretty sure Dwan's Mandarin is really sharp at this point, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
1,200.
Daniel attacked me and attacked me and attacked me.
Here we go.
And all I ever said is he's one of the all-time greats, which he is one of the all-time greats.
Call.
Check.
Check.
Queens and sixes, no waiting for
Wow.
Hellmuth. but-
Open under and the heart for Dwan.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Ollie.
15.
Comes with 60 some odd percent. Let's see. Could go either way here for Phil.
Call.
Just gonna flat,
Check.
see how this texture develops, and very clean turn card on the heels of the dark check with 5,400 in the middle. And might this be the moment we see Dwan try to run a multi-street bluff unimproved?
44.
There's that second piece of the puzzle.
And once again, Phil has a decision whether to raise or not. They're awfully deep, but queens and sixes are so strong. Might want to juice it up now.
Seconds. Call.
No. Hellmuth gonna
Check.
take his chances as he checks dark once more. Now an ace comes off, and that does feel like the kind of card that opens the door for Dwan to do some representing, provided he doesn't have Phil on an ace-X kind of range.
Yeah, just 9 high. Everything you just said, Ollie. And here we go,
Call.
11K. Snap call.
Got it.
9 high, no good, Ollie. Very well done from Hellmuth.
Yep. And as much as you get tempted to say, well, the guy's getting hit by the deck and he's so lucky, certainly that will happen, and presumably it will happen on a break-even basis over enough trials. It is about how we navigate those opportunities, and the juncture there for Phil on the turn was, do I check raise here, pretty wet-looking board on the flop, or do I take my chances
I
with
like
the flat
Daniel
and
a
try
lot,
to
and
give
he's great for
my
poker.
man some rope?
And
Call. 1400. Call.
Dwan starting to inflate these pots a little bit more now, out of position with the ace.
Check.
As King 9 in a bad way does not follow through. Hellmuth picks up a gutty on the turn.
Check. Check.
Not interested in betting it. Board pairs on the end. And
Check.
King 9.
Check.
Glad a 9 didn't come.
you could hear the uncertainty in Phil's tone there.
Maybe could have bluffed when that straight draw hit. You're liable to just raise me, though.
Dwan, not quite as chirpy right now, Ollie. You know what I mean?
Got some work to do, and there'll be plenty of people coming out to put in work. The best in the world, specifically in the hunt for the coveted purple jacket. It's the 2021 Poker Masters here from Las Vegas. Catch all of the high-stakes action September 8th through the 19th exclusively on PokerGO. Again, Dwan sharing a card and pipping Hellmuth. Made it 1,200 pre, followed through for 1,500, and back to this ungodly thickness we go.
Anybody betting out there? It's a club sandwich, turkey with bacon.
Oh, now that actually, oh, was there a little cud on the outside there? I think he mushed on that half of the sandwich, by the way, which is the appropriate approach. Are you a musher? You definitely mush, right?
What do you mean, Ollie? Like squeeze it hard
Yeah.
to get it, you know, a little flatter?
Yeah.
So the bite isn't so big. The
Right.
nuts here for Hellmuth. Third pair queen kicker for Dwan. Let's see. Snap call, drawing dead.
Just 500 was
going
the
Phil's
size
way
of-
so far.
Yeah.
Check.
We're at the river and he's still chewing. Just
It's unbelievable.
1700.
Comes with essentially full pot.
yeah, on the topic of big bites.
Does get away, Ollie.
Yeah. You can see he's a little bit annoyed because at a certain point you begin to think
Frustrating start for Tom. I mean, it's
they can't always have
right.
it. But in Hellmuth's case, he has really
that
had
kind
it.
of feel, Phil. All right, guys.
I'll take the over on 8 minutes. I mean,
You know, historically throughout these matches, it's probably pretty reasonable. Something, you know, just a little nibble, because the candy and so on is just around the corner in all likelihood.
he oh, are we gonna peddle some product here?
Well,
All right, I'm gonna drink a little brain food.
oh God.
Look at that elixir.
Beetroot probiotics, vitamin C, zinc.
Go on.
Call. Check.
King 6 and 9-7. Top pair here for Dwan.
$500.
Okay.
No patronage. And by the way, even when you're dragging these tiny pots, it gets frustrating, right?
Well, yeah, I was just thinking that note, the snap fold from Philly as top pair can get a little weird out there, but you know, Tom's been here before. He's had a rough 15, 20 minutes, you know, many times, so he's experienced. But yes, Ollie,
And he's still 200 bigs deep.
of course. I mean, long
Total
way to go,
non-issue,
but
yeah.
you know, not a great start.
Jack high.
It is a
Maybe.
marathon, not a sprint in this format. You want to hazard a guess as to what Tom's working with on the beverage side there? I happen to know.
Green tea, that would be number one, but obviously coffee is live. Go ahead, Ollie. Talk to me. Is it a third option? I mean, let's hear it.
It's you really didn't know?
No, I really didn't know. Ollie.
500.
That's a little frightening.
Green
It is
tea?
indeed green tea.
Well, he spends a lot of time in Asia. You know, they often
Well, you could have gone
they
with
drink a lot of tea out there.
oolong.
That's true. I could have gone with oolong, but I went with green, Ollie. You know.
What's the fastest you have one of them end?
5 hours, maybe 4.5
Oh,
hours.
wow. So long. Jeez.
Dwan's like, because I got to get out of here.
I know, right?
not-
I have
I'm
a
not
dinner
in this for
reservation in 30
4.5
minutes.
hours.
Yeah. Raise call here.
And coming with the 3x
Oh, I was going to win it on the first
sizing.
hand when I flopped the nut flush.
They're so deep. Seems good.
Kings, no waiting.
700.
Interesting,
25.
Ollie. Ollie,
Oh.
here we go. This defies convention. Good sniff here from Dwan.
Yeah,
Could go a lot of different ways. We have a dark check from Phil.
the club rolls off. Neither player with the flush draw. Hellmuth actually drawing dead here, but as he's demonstrated on multiple occasions, Nick, an ace is well within his range after flatting out of position. The check raise does feel slightly uncharacteristic for that sort of holding as we see Dwan improves his kicker, but at the expense of 4 clubs on board.
Yeah, well said. Terrible run out for Dwan.
Ten seconds.
32.
3,200.
Oh, man.
Well, Hellmuth has taken Tom into the forest as he's known to do.
And credit to Dwan
Yeah, absolutely.
for thinking about this one.
10 seconds.
Roughly half pot, the sizing here on the river.
It does get through, Ollie. Bravo,
Yeah.
Hellmuth.
Almost heroed you.
Good instincts there from Tom.
Heroic, though.
But, well,
Phil
Yeah.
looking pretty good so far.
Phil is an animal, man.
I mean, the 8 pairing along with the clubs, and certainly that river helped him.
Wowzer.
Maybe I should have.
You can always trade. You can ask, then you owe me one. Yeah, the next time I ask, no? I trust you to tell me what you had. Plus, there's a stream.
Ace queen.
1200.
And 2 nickels for Phil. 1,200 ahead. Fairly established button open sizing from
Check.
Dwan, who outflops the 5s.
15.
Top pair and the better heart.
Call.
Comes with 15.
Check.
Phil quickly calls and checks dark. Top 2 now for Tom.
$33.
Oh, I think I have you. Every time I say that, I rewind the tape and I was right. Okay. You're going to look back on this one, Phil, and say you should have raised them instead of folding.
I'm not sure that's what you're going to say. Now, if it was 7-5,
Right.
I mean, I couldn't beat a jack. Good bet. We were playing the other night, remember? And you made it 20,000, and I studied for 4 minutes with ace jack offsuit. I was sure you didn't have it.
Pre-flop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You showed queen 10.
Yeah.
Check.
I regretted not moving in there.
I'm pretty happy you didn't.
You would have had to call.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
neither player with the club on the monotone flop. Advantage Dwan with
Call.
a pair of deuces. Comes
like
out
a-
swinging for
right.
500 and now makes queens up. Hellmuth tore one off with the gutty. And I think also a little bit of wanting to test Tom's resolve when it comes to barreling away on the turn. Maybe
Sure.
he can just take it unimproved, but not this time. Second barrel gets it done.
All right, I'll have to look back at that one. That'll be interesting.
Just now, I mean, the ace jack 4.
Yeah, it felt like you had 10-8 or 10-9, and you had to bluff.
How
You folded a
important
button.
Folded the button.
That's the second time.
is it, Nick,
Third.
to shift
Second that I
gears
remember.
consciously
There was one I raised that I almost folded.
throughout the course of one of these heads-up matches as opposed to just stay the course?
It's important, but the course couldn't infer sort of gear
Would
switches.
have been very hero-y. I had fives in hand. Ace, 4, jack.
It's important, though.
Would have been very hero-y.
Shift from limping a
Felt
lot of
right.
buttons to 3x, 4x opens.
Call.
Shift from dark checks and,
And
calls
that's one
to
thing that both of these players are quite good at, mixing it up and kind of keeping you on your toes, staying unpredictable.
and they're going to share a 4 on this queen high board. Hellmuth has the
1500?
kicker pipped.
1500.
Look at this, Ollie, very nice here from Hellmuth also on the strength of that kicker pip you just mentioned. Dwan came with the 60% pot lead and Hellmuth shot it up right away. Off to a turn we go.
He limped the button pre. And of course, Tom well aware that
Check.
Phil likes to do that with the big pairs. How will Tom react to the check back on the turn?
1000.
He goes for a sort of 25%
Ace
pot
4.
value bet with king 4, and he'll see the very kind of tilty one there.
Yeah.
You got the maximum.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Raise.
1200.
How much more of this will Dwan
Call.
be able to tolerate before perhaps we
Check.
see
Check.
an erosion of the patience and discipline he has demonstrated thus far?
Check.
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 Paired flop. Both players check. Now Dwan in position, picks up the club draw and bets his jack high,
Call.
which is chopping with
Interesting, Ollie.
Hellmuth's jack high. Yeah.
Huh?
What's the
Check.
plan here as we call 1300? Hope to get the showdown
Jack.
for free? Dwan binked the 6 and
Thought about re-raising pre-flop.
No.
no chop
No,
there.
but it would have been much better. Would have been much better if a blank came, because you have to bluff with Jack 6 high, right? You bluff 3K and I snap with Jack 9.
And then we chop.
God, you're right. Fuck. Never mind. Damn it. That's right. We were chopped anyway. You were almost free rolling, as it turned
I
out.
was free rolling.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Offsuit 9.
You had 2 outs. I had whatever, 11 or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
Call. Check.
Felt like you had to bluff the ace.
Dwan leads out on the pre-flop limp pot. Takes it.
Quite a few of those so far today, Ollie. Limp check pre-lead from Tom. Kind of interesting.
And you wonder if at some point Phil isn't going to begin to increase his float percentage by calling in position
Were
and
you
just
guys
kind of
chatting a lot
testing
with Antonio and Daniel?
A little bit.
those probing
check.
bets.
Check.
Jack 8 deuce, top pair for Dwan.
And a good flop for Hellmuth as well. The gut shot, queen of clubs. Let's see.
13 into 24.
Call.
Call.
Check.
Check.
Call and the dark check. Unimproved is the queen 10. Same story for Dwan, but he doesn't need improvement.
$38.
A decision here for Hellmuth, Ollie. See how he proceeds. Lets it go. Best hand winner for Tom. Chiseling away slightly.
Daniel was chatting a lot.
Really? Talking shit the whole time?
The first match, yeah.
What did you chat about the second time?
He was a little bit more respectful.
For those that might have missed that match,
Call.
Negreanu at one point had a 19-1 chip lead
Ooh, he really did, Ollie.
on Phil Hellmuth, and it looked like it was
This is the life we've chosen.
all over. And somehow, some way, Hellmuth, resilient, caught the right run of cards and made the most of it. Came all the way back to defeat Negreanu, and then swept him clean in 3 matches. Meanwhile, Hellmuth limped the button. Dwan shot it up to 1,600 and follows through for
this,
2,200
Ollie.
as these pots are starting to get inflated, and Hellmuth
Certainly thinking about a 3x-ish raise. Just Jack 8 of hearts, King 10, 6, 2 diamonds. Lets it go.
yeah,
Thought about it
I
though,
don't think
Ollie.
he needs- I mean, that was like 1 second.
We usually do it at 30. Like,
Really?
as soon as we get through the whole statement.
All right.
I mean, it was my mistake. It was an extra second.
I wouldn't have charged you.
I know.
Hellmuth
I want to charge you either, by the way.
gets taxed a time extension
Okay.
there after Going over by just 1
I should have
second.
gotten more for my money, though, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. That's the weird part.
1 second, that wasn't enough.
1200.
I almost made it 6,100.
I would have called.
Really?
Yep.
6-5 off out of there. Onward.
It's an interesting dynamic. Give me 10 blacks. You raising at least 50% of the pots. We have some fun sticky situations when you bomb every flop. Sometimes I just have to. Sometimes I have to trap you. Sometimes I have to raise with the nuts.
Call.
Check.
Check.
King 9 checks back from the big and turns into top pair.
Check. 500.
Bottom pair in position. Bets.
This time it's Hellmuth throwing in the customary 500
Call.
on the flop.
And Tom looking more like Phil with the check call with top pair, which turns into kings up.
Right.
Quick check back from Hellmuth as Dwan fills up on the river.
1800 in the middle.
1000.
Comes with 60%. And nice,
Wow.
lovely snap fold from Hellmuth, Ali. Bravo.
And it feels to me, Nick, a little bit like if Dwan
Very
comes with
interesting.
bigger sizing there, that would pique more of Phil's interest.
You know, perhaps, but it's just, I'll tell you one thing that's piquing Phil's interest.
my God.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
1200.
Really? You got to give him credit. I mean, he really puts everything into trying to unhinge the jaw. You ever seen a python eat a bird egg?
All right, Ali.
You know how they have to dislocate to get the whole mouth around the item? We need some reptilian mandibular motion out of Hellmuth to really get around that club sandwich.
1400.
Got the spade Broadway interaction and that position that you often talk about, Ali. So important, but middle pair here from Hellmuth, of course, bites on.
I thought you were talking about the unhinged jaw position. You're referring to something else?
Oh my God.
22.
2200.
Look at this. Keeping the straight draws honest, perhaps. The 4 7s and such.
Six of the 9.
Dwan calls with queen high as Hellmuth
That he does, Ali.
value bets him, and those ones sting a little bit.
They do.
And how dissuasive do you think a pot like that is going to be with respect to Dwan's future taking of lines?
Well, if he doesn't think Hellmuth is maybe as polar in certain spots as he thought, if his value range is a bit wider,
Call.
you do need to tread a little more lightly maybe with the extreme bluff catchers, but it's all fluid. Limp here from Hellmuth with a nice one, raise from Dwan with a nice one as well, playing heads up. Let's see.
Call.
Little demonstrative apprehension there from Hellmuth.
Right, it felt like he almost wanted to fold and give a speech, but then he realized just queen jack, it's too absurd.
Check. Check.
Quick check back.
Dwan flopped the gut shot straight draws. Ace high was good until that jack appeared.
Check.
Now he has a two-way gutty. Still
11.
checking, and into 3,200 comes 11.
That he does, Ali, and ace high as well. Let's see.
Yeah, a
Comes
little
with
too
call.
much hand to
Right.
release for sure. Oh, and there's the 6.
And perhaps we'll have a lead of sorts from Tom, targeting exactly what we're looking at.
$4,000.
Call.
Call.
Does get snapped. Well done from Dwan there.
Oh.
Not particularly pleased, Ali. Hellmuth, that is.
Cold-blooded. Very cold-blooded.
Not quite an eruption.
You knew you almost have him.
A little
You
tremor.
got him raising every time, betting every flop. You know it's coming. Oh, fuck.
That's where the USGS issues a little earthquake warning.
6 was ugly. You could have just folded even, like, let him hit the miracles and still don't pay off.
Riz.
Notice, by the way, that Dwan came with the 4,000 into 5,400,
Yeah.
I checked.
and he
Exactly.
snap called despite the texture, whereas he was willing to snap fold that 7
That's right.
when he fired 1K. So I think there may be some correlation there where Tom comes with the meteor bet on the end, and that's going to pique more of Phil's interest.
You called it before. You might very well be right, Ollie.
12.
Nice card for Tom. Obviously. Flush draw, straight draw now. Opposed to just jack high. Hellmuth with the value pursuit. Perhaps we might have a little semi-bluff opportunity here from Tom. Let's see. Seems pretty logical.
Being laid 3-1 on the call.
Second.
Yep. Upstairs.
78.
Hard to fight with a black 10-7 here, but if anybody can, it's this man, Ollie. Let's see.
And as we've touched on so many occasions, it isn't just a function of
Yes,
thinking.
He has the jack 6 of hearts.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
You have to let him win. You have to let him bluff you. You got to show it too.
It's about the next street. What do you do? And I think Dwan just showed him.
He
Not
did.
a 6. Only because you called the jack of hearts, you know?
Classy, Ollie.
Yeah.
Respects a good read when he sees one.
Game recognized game.
So correct.
I hope I never again say those 3 words in as dorky a manner as I just did. I feel like it was
You just had a
entirely
7,
devoid of the adequate
like a gut
swag
shot or something with it.
required.
Yeah, nothing with it.
I would have been fire on the river, so.
16.
Suited ace slims
Yeah,
the
some
button.
holding on to do.
A nice one for Tom as well, playing heads up, covering the middle of the deck and the diamonds.
He takes a swing with 10-7, ends up with bottom pair up against top pair. And perhaps the 10-7 taketh and the 10-7 giveth away. We shall soon see as Tom bets 1,800.
Call.
Call.
Of course, fill in. See what this turn brings.
Third overcard for Dwan.
Check.
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 Hellmuth content to check back. Sorts out kicker problems courtesy of the 8.
Check.
$32.
3,200.
Look at this, Ollie.
Yeah, it's that sigh, look away,
Ace.
take it, Lucky.
Let's pay it off.
Yeah.
That limpy, weird style from Hellmuth has put a lot of people in odd spots over the years.
Yep. Dwan going full bullfrog with the exhale. As the frustration getting the best of him. Nothing frustrating about your PokerGo subscription, however, as we continue to deliver you the best that poker has to offer, including the Super High Roller Bowl. The game's elite going to take to the felt. September 27th is the beginning of 3 days of ultra high stakes action. You can watch it live
Is
exclusively
it 255?
on PokerGo.